goodness, goodness. Okay. Welcome everybody to a little bit of a Smite tutorial, maybe, I guess. I'm not sure what to call it yet. I am in practice, so we don't have to worry about other people kind of ruining things, being weird about stuff. I will lead with this. The AI in the practice is just awful and should not be taken seriously. Okay, we're starting mid laner, and mid lane is the lane up the middle over here. As you can see, it's the lane in the center, mid lane. It is in the middle of the map. Anyways, it is the lane that is the shortest distance from like Phoenix to Phoenix or Titan to Titan, base to base basically. Generally, it's the lane that gets pushed first. It is generally, and I say generally because there are meta breakers, and apparently Neath mid is part of the meta now. A burst damage mage such as Poseidon, Isis, Janus. I'm playing Scylla. There's others too. Any mage pretty much except for like a couple of them, but that's not important right now. You have two items to start with pretty much. You want to start Soulstone or Vampiric Shroud. I start Soulstone on Scylla, and then you can start Lost Artifact to go into Doom Ward, which is going to be applicable in the new meta unless you're really, really good, which is beside the point. I like to start Lifesteal, and since I have that, I'm going to start 2 health pots and that. On Scylla, you will generally you will always start your Crush if you don't have auto level skills on, unless you think they might invade, and then you might have to end up starting your 3, and that's just bad news. Generally, you would meet your support and ADC over, take your red, and come to lane. Generally, solo lane is about pushing lane, doing damage to the minions, and the enemy god in the AI will just stand there and take it, essentially. For some reason, he just stands there and takes it. I'm going to try my best not to kill him on purpose, or kill him even accidentally, I should say. There's no guarantees, though. He's that bad. I really wish I had somebody else to play with to do 1v1s, to show you. Depending on how you're playing, if you think you're going to do better than your opponent with Scylla, or worse, you would grab your 1 if you think you're going to do better, because you can root them and then throw your Crush on them for some good burst damage, or you grab your 3 if you think you're going to need to get away. The whole purpose of Soulstone is you have stacks on it, and you get more MP5 which is mana regen per stack. At full stacks, when you throw an ability, it casts with an extra 30 magical power, which is quite a bit early game. I don't want to hit him, I don't want to kill him. So generally, if I can help it, after I throw some abilities, I try and get as many stacks as I can, and then just kind of sit back and let my mana regen. In the AI, plays 2-1-2, which is not how the current meta is played, meaning there's 2 in left lane, duo lane, long lane. Long lane is duo lane with the ADC and the support, and then short lane or solo lane is on the right with see how the towers are closer together. That'll generally be solo laner, and then the jungle, which would be Kali, takes the jungle, roams around, grabs this kind of stuff. Generally speaking, but that's a whole different one. We won't talk about the junglers. Junglers will usually be in your lane about right now, waiting for mid camps to come up. In terms of to get the farm for mid camps, which is big. It's quite big. It's quite a big deal. And as you'll see, I waited. I did not put a point in my 3 yet. For 1, because I'm playing AI, and 2, to get a point in my 2 at level 5. To have that extra damage, that extra 50 damage, which should help me to kill the minions first. The whole point of Scylla is to max out your 2, basically. Don't come at me, Anubis. I will end you. Like I said, I will end you. I just wanted to chase him off because he tried to attack me. And that frustrates me, and the computer tries to do that. Anyways, in mid lane, you'll generally want to play safer than I am, because we're playing AI, and they just don't even they barely abandon their lanes and let's chase somebody through the jungle and then they run away. At 3 minutes up until the next patch, Mid-camp spawn. Those are very, very, very important. You want to be in lane for those. Those are a huge chunk of XP that you do not want to miss out on. Minions are stuck in there. Under no circumstances should you miss a mid-camp if you're playing with a team, if you guys can rotate. Generally speaking, their support will rotate over about 10 seconds, about 250. They should be around here, and the junglers. Try and contest those. Generally, you'll split them. You know, one team will get one side, and one team will get the other side. That's just generally how it goes. You know, it's just how it goes. Hopefully, if you can, about 2.5 minutes, try and force your opponent, the other mid laner, to get pushed, like to get them low on health, so they cannot contest mid camps. That is probably the best and easiest way to get ahead in terms of mid laning. At this time, I would like to take a second to preface: I am not a pro player. I am not that good at this game. So if I do say something wrong that you do not agree with, or that, you know, a pro player does differently and they are better than me, anybody that's on any team in the SPL is better than me, especially at mid laning. It is not what I consider my main. I'm not that good at this game. I will admit it. So I'm just trying to, you know, help share what little knowledge I do have with people that are new to the game. So yeah, mid camps contesting those. Generally, when you get about 1600, enough for boots, you'll go back, buy your boots. Generally, you'll be lower on health and mana than I am, but I'm not being contested at all by that Goobus. You know, you want to buy some wards that I can't buy because I have pots that I need to use. And you generally want to get back to lane as quick as possible in order to, you know, not lose farm to tower. Like I said, AI is just terrible. If sometime today I can get somebody to get in a custom game with me maybe and help me do 1v1s, we'll just play mid against each other and see how that goes. We'll try and get that done. Ward spots, you know, I favor, I like to ward a little, like most people just ward right there. I like to do about right here so you get more vision up into here. Again, this is not going to be applicable. And that can be done on both sides. If you're playing more aggressive, I like to place a ward right here. I try to cover as little just enough to catch this in case, you know, they cut the corner, just so you can see somebody coming into lane. I like to try and get them as far towards solo lane as I can on this side. Basically as far away from the middle lane as possible so you have more of a heads up when somebody's coming into your lane. But like if you look at you know, my experience bar, see how big of a I mean, you know, that gave me half a level right there, and I'm at level 8, and that should be the second time they're being taken. So those really are a huge deal. And again, Scylla, dang it. I messed up. Anyways, that's real. I'm just gonna kill him. He just doesn't even move. It's sad. He doesn't even move. I know I said I wasn't gonna try and kill him on purpose, but you know, we're starting to wrap this up a bit, I guess. A little short tutorial video. Builds for mages. Let's go back and look at items, shall we? Okay. And it's different for every mage. A standard burst mage build, you will be looking at boots, whether that's Shoes of the Magi or cooldown boots, depending on who you are. Some people like cooldown boots. These are getting reworked soon, so I wouldn't worry about that. Bancroft's Talon is a pretty good staple item. Obsidian Shard or Spear of the Magus, depending if you have a dot damage, like if you're Agni, if you can use your passive well, you get it on him. Poseidon, you get Spear. Who else do you always get Spear on? I'm trying to think. Nobody else comes to mind because my brain is like bleh right now. Warlock Sash or Book of Thoth. You want to build one of those right after your boots, generally speaking, to get, especially if you start Tiny Trinket, to get those stacks off in mid. You want to get those stacks as soon as possible because it's 100 stacks to 75 stacks. I mean, I forget what the time frame is on that if you hit every minion, but it's pretty long. It's several minutes to get those. You're pretty much always going to want Rada Tahuti. If you want to be a scumbag, so Poseidon, Gem of Isolation is great, especially paired with Warlock Sash, or not Warlock Sash, Book of Thoth.
Your middle tower is under attack.
Because you get more mana there. Typical build for my typical build for Scylla. Okay, calm down, calm down. Jeez, it's angry with me, I guess. I will go. I play a little bit risky. I'll generally go Book of Thoth, Shoes of the Magi, Bancrofts, Obsidian Shard, Rada Tahuti, and then my last item. You know, I see a lot of people play Soul Reaver. That's a good buy. Chronos Pendant for the cooldown. You won't need the MP5, but for the cooldown is really good. I'm gonna go ahead and build in the Book of Thoth and just get back to Helene. As far as actives go on Scylla, if you're against a Poseidon, another Scylla, which won't happen in ranked. If you are against a Poseidon, a Scylla, not so much in Anubis. Trying to think who else. Poseidon and Scylla definitely. You want Aegis to Aegis their ult. Aegis is an active that when you use it, it gives you immunity to all forms of damage. They did nerf it. You can no longer use it when you're under the effects of a hard crowd control, such as a stun or a mesmerize. But since Poseidon's Whirlpool has a cripple, and he generally will throw the Whirlpool down before he ults, you will want to have that to Aegis to use against his ult. Because if you take the damage away from his ult, I mean, he still might kill you. Ooh, excuse me for the yawns. He still might kill you, but it's far less likely that he will. Like you see, Scylla had weak early clear, but now she's got good late game clear wave 1 hit. Most burst mages are like that though. You know, and against like Anubis, you definitely want beads early on because that mummify will be the end of you, especially during a gank. And you want to keep warding your lane. You cannot sit in lane with no wards and blame your teammates for not calling enemy missing. Like, your teammates should always be calling. You should always call enemy missing, which on the VGS is VF, and then if you're in middle lane, it's middle lane. VI is enemy incoming. You know, enemy incoming, enemies incoming right. If your mid laner ever leaves lane, immediately call that. Call, you know, that they're missing, which way they're heading, if you can, and follow them unless there's a wave pushed into your tower. If there's a wave that's going to be pushed into your tower, try and clear that wave as fast as possible. Call that they are incoming left or right, and leave, and try and follow them. I cannot tell you how many times I've been either in solo lane or duo lane, and the mid just shows up out of nowhere. You know, because 1, the mid didn't buy wards, and 2, they didn't know how to use VGS, they didn't call anything, and then, really trying to come at me? You know, they don't call it, and they're sitting in lane farming when they, when they should have been rotating with. That's just a huge thing. It'll help your team out. They're less likely to get angry with you. Another thing, if anybody BMs, like, just mute them. See, there's this little mute button right here. Just mute them, and if they were actually calling things, you know, just type in chat real quick. Next time you go back, just be like, hey, I muted this, or, you know, just let me know if so-and-so stops BMing. You know, like, just something like that. Not to instigate them, but to say, hey, like, dude, I'm trying to play the game, I'm trying to work with you, you're just BMing, but I will unmute you if you stop. You know, basically just something along those lines. Ganking lanes as a mid, if your mid laner's not here, pushing towers is probably top priority. Like I said, I haven't played mid in such a long time either that I don't even know 100% of, you know, how all it plays out, and it's kind of hard to play it out when you're not in a game because there's so much stuff that's situational. But definitely getting your stacks is a huge deal. Cause, I mean, look, I already have 273 magical power, which is quite a bit with 2 items. Just stacking up is such a huge deal. And clearing those waves as fast as you can is also a big deal. And, you know, go back when you have to. Don't forget your actives. Buy wards. You should not have to buy sentry wards as a mid. You shouldn't have to until about 20 minutes maybe. And then just pick one up just in case. Or if you want to check to see if, you know, check for enemy wards in these locations. To kill their wards, basically. You can buy a sentry ward for that if you're getting ganked or having trouble. Or if they're, you know, if they put a sentry ward down and kill your wards, obviously then you want to buy one. And do that. What else am I missing here? In team fights, you want to stay out of the way as much as you can, kind of in the back lines. So you can't be focused easily. You are super squishy as a mage, even with Warlock Sash. You are still super squishy. Don't think you can tank anything for a second. I mean, that Anubis is the same level as me. If he walks backwards, I'll hit him with that and show you how much damage it'll kill him. Essentially, 477 damage. I mean, you look at my health. You know, we're the same level, by the way. Like, yes, I'm up on gold in him, but you know, health items has nothing to do with protections. We're the same level. You know, 477 health. That's a third, or a quarter, a third of my health pool, which will be about the third of Anubis's health pool. And that's just, Scylla does have high damage abilities, but that's just one ability, not several dumped on you at the same time. So you definitely want to try and stay out of the range of enemies being able to focus you as much as you can. That cannot always be helped. If you have to, play safe, farm under tower. It's very easy to do. You know, in terms of Conquest, Fire Giant and Gold Fury. Gold Fury up until about 13 minutes spent on the game, goes 13-15 minutes, is a huge deal. About 15 minutes teams are generally going to start looking for Fire if you're playing against good people. I mean, I've played games 25 minutes and nobody's even like thought about Fire, hasn't even awarded yet. So, you know, it's just how the game's going, depending on how well put together your team is. Fire Giant is a huge buff. It gives like 70 magical power, 50 physical power, huge health and mana regens, and 20% increased damage to towers and phoenixes.
An ally has been slain.
And to show you why you need Aegis, especially against the Scylla, if he'll stand still, I mean, you know, half his health, and if I hit him with that, you know, he's almost dead from 2 abilities. Generally your 1 would be in there as well, and that would do even more damage. You know, Aegis is such huge, that's half damage. Scylla only has 3 abilities, her cooldowns are fairly long. Like, what are her cooldowns? You know, 10 seconds for those abilities. That's a long time in a team fight. And that's why, you know, it's a huge deal to be able to counter their ults. Poseidon's, you know, about the same way. He has slightly lower cooldowns. I'll save this Hercules. Or not, because I'm bad at this game, as I stated earlier. You know, a lot of it is a feel, and you want to try and... You don't want to be taking your red buff by yourself, unless your jungler has just died. Would you stay away from me? But yeah, see the amount of damage I do, and I'm you know, we're the same level still. Granted, Scylla does a lot of damage. But yeah, as a mage, you're squishy, so stay out of the fight as much as you can. And if you can, just poke your enemy. You know, poke them, make them go back to base, make them lose farm. Honestly, that's a really good strategy, is to just make them lose farm so they can't, you know, so they get behind. And once they get behind, you can bully them, basically. Well, this video is about coming to an end. I don't know what else to talk about. You know, so holding your tower is a big deal. There's just so many little things about the game that I don't think about anymore, but like somebody that's new to the game don't really know. So if you do have any more questions, please comment, ask questions. No question's a dumb question. If you're a new player, like, there's so many little things that I wish somebody would have laid out for me when I started, because it took me forever to get to the point in the game where I was like, alright, I can play this game mode, have a semblance of what's going on, and not feel like I'm just like the most worthless person in the game at the moment. He just really wants to kill me, doesn't he? crazy. I mean, 855 damage. That's ridiculous. And now I'm a level ahead of him because I've killed him 3 times. You know, I don't know what else to talk about. Wards win games. Wards win like, not having wards is such a huge detriment. If the enemy team is aggressive, and they're pushing really hard, or they're invading your jungle, and you know that they're invading, you know, place a ward here, place a ward there, you know, so you can see when they're there. If you're feeling aggressive, you want to know when your enemy's at the red buff, you know, come around here, and place a ward up there. You know, no big deal. Also, left alt is to ping on the map. It gives you cursor free movement. That's right click ping. That's left click ping. Wards will ping enemies automatically. I'm really not sure what else to talk about. You know, a lot of it just comes with experience playing the game. Hopefully the things that I have talked about will help you if you are new to the game. I know the game's been out for quite a while now, so there's not too many new players, but even players new to Conquest. I didn't play Conquest for a long time when I started playing the game, just because it was so confusing. It was just so overwhelming at first. You know, there's just so much going on. You got certain roles you have to play. And like I said, this was only covering mid roles. Sometimes your jungle will come back here and you can share mid camp or back camps. When you push lane, that does happen. So much of it is just from experience of playing the game, though. Oh, there's a lot of minions. But yeah, a lot of it's just about experience and that kind of stuff. I'm just gonna end it here. I feel like I've covered a lot of the basics. It might be really overwhelming. Please don't forget to like and comment on this video. I really do appreciate that. And honestly, comment any questions you have regarding the game, mid lane. If you want to see another one regarding, you know, I can't warrior or support very well. I apologize. I'm so terrible at that. Like jungle, ADC, and mid lane is kind of what I do. I can play solo, like solo ADCs and solo mages, I guess, somewhat. Solo Neath and Loki are my favorite in terms of solo lane, which generally are not picked too often in the higher ranks. You're dead. He's not dead. And now he's dead. If I hit him, I didn't hit him. Okay. Anyways, yeah, comment any questions you have. I'll be doing another one of these shortly, hopefully. Until then, take care of yourselves, and maybe I'll see you in a stream sometime. Who knows? You know? I don't know. But we're gonna surrender. There goes the Titan. We lost. We're terrible. I'm so bad at this game. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. We'll catch you in the next video.